And here we go. So once again, I want to welcome Jay Kimmelman again to Webinar Wednesday. Last time he was with us a couple of weeks ago, he spoke about a topic that was extraordinarily interesting to ABO and to our ignitization audience. And that one was about client onboarding, apparently something a lot of people struggle with. And I can tell you right now, I have a CPA who has a CPA on his staff that I work with for taxes, another one for advice. I'm talking actually with a tax attorney right now on an old issue, just actually for some advice. I have a divorce attorney and I have a loan modification attorney, and I've spent millions of dollars on business attorneys in deals that I've done over the years. And most of them have proven that you are not alone. They have some serious challenges when it comes to the onboarding process. And I have to say, honestly, that I want to help in every way possible. And I'm working with Jay to fix this problem. So we did our onboarding last week, and now let's say Jay helps you. First you take my Ignite program, right? And you get lots of clients. And then, or work with me in whatever capacity, or your marketing's working. And then all of a sudden, you take Jay's advice and you jump onto something like Practice Ignition. He helps you get that rolling, and boom, you're just adding customers while you're sleeping. And then here comes the hard work. Now that you've got their money, you've got the customer, what do you do next? And the reality is, I think we all know, we have to go through a variety of different procedures, and there's paperwork, and there's calendars, and there are a slew of apps. My favorite motto with apps are only use the ones that work, and the keep it simple, stupid principle really works here. So I just wanted to make sure that all of you are aware of what we're trying to do. Is Jay is an expert in working with client management, and he is going to discuss part 2 today, which is just about what to do with all of those clients as they come on. A quick introduction about ignitization. Ignitization is a site that we built to help entrepreneurs and business owners ignite their practice, so to speak. Ignitization is a word that was created over a glass of wine. And later 11 URLs were secured because nobody can spell it correctly. So we got every variation possible, and that's just the way it works. And yes, ignitization is on fire. It's all about lighting fires. And for those of you that can't say it with me now: ignitization. It's not that challenging. I will be honest, the first 2 weeks I blew it at least every other time. And on Ignitization are our forums where you can 24/7 ask any question you wish. We have live Ignite chat on Mondays where we Brady Bunch style the Zoom chat, and everybody just gets to jump in and talk. We have vodcasts. Jay and another client of mine, Carrie Kahn, who, if you know, is an IRP and has complete business partner program, which a lot of you are involved in. We do vodcasts where we'll do a fireside chat over Zoom, and then we turn those into videos. If you're not great in front of the camera and not loving YouTube, you've got that. We can use those. They're awesome, and it doesn't have to be with me. You can do it with anybody. And then, of course, most importantly, we're here for our live webinars on Wednesday, which really is the most important part of what we offer. And these webinars are live to you as Ignitization members, sometimes available to the public. And while we haven't formally announced it yet, come January, ignitization.com will be included in all, and I say all, School of Bookkeeping Pro-only enrollments. So if you are a Pro-enrolled scholar at School of Bookkeeping, all of the content that you're seeing both live and all of the recorded webinars, and there's a ton of them, will be available to you. And both sides, School of Bookkeeping and Ignitization, are going to explode in 2016 with help of friends like Jay Kimmelman and some others that we will mention shortly. And by the way, we are about to launch today our first, it's actually our second author that we've added, Alicia Katz-Pollock of Royal Wise, her 92 lesson QBO course. We don't get it all, but we get a nice chunk of it. You get to watch them as part of an enrolled scholar, being an enrolled scholar, and you'll get a link to her website and you'll get to buy it at a discount. All right, so if you haven't heard about the ProIgnite program, we won't talk about it right now, but it literally lights people on fire and helps them build their practice. Go sign up for it. But before you do that, you can set up a 30-minute free consultation with me if you go to proigniteprogram.com or 74marketing.com or just pretty much anywhere you find me, and we can talk for free. So back to our special guest, Jay Kimmelman.
Pick up and do a quick overview of Practice Ignition and how we use it and how it leads to our workflows and our onboarding here at the Digital CPA. So pretty much we went over this a couple weeks ago when we were here, but real quick, this is the dashboard you see. This is my test environment, my demo environment that I use. And I have a couple of active, you can see there's a couple of active engagements. There's a draft and one that's been sent. And you could see on the proposal screen, you could see here are your drafts, your sent, your actives, everything's laid out. I'm just going to go back to the dashboard here real quick because this draft one right here. So I'm planning on meeting with Bob's Bakery this morning. I'm actually sitting down with them. So I pre-built what I think they're going to want. And ahead of time, I put in there, you know, we've had a few discussions. I kind of know what they want. So I built out a proposal. So while I'm sitting there with them, I can take my phone and go in there and make some edits real quick and send it to them. Or if I'm here, like we are here on a Zoom meeting, I could be doing this on another screen while we're talking. And as we're finishing up the conversation, I can fire off, and you can see here's the approve and send. I can send off this proposal to them and say, hey, you now have the proposal in your hand. Once you go ahead and give it a look, you can go ahead and sign it, or go ahead. And here's what the client's going to see. On their side, they're going to see the proposal, all the information from the engagement letter. They agree to terms. They sign it. And I don't have payments enabled, but if I did, and I do in my live company, they'd have to put in the payment information. And we will pull payment from the client on a monthly basis based on the engagement that we set up. Now, popping back over here, I'm going to just go ahead and accept this as if the client did. And what that's going to do, so I'm just going to come on over here to my Workflow Max, and you can see we have one job over here, which is a test job, and it's set up to start today. But when I come on over here and I accept that, we're going to go ahead. It's going to kick off the invoices. If I go on into Zero, there's the invoice from today for the upfront month of December. I go into Workflow Max. I'll refresh my screen, or Zero Practice Manager, excuse me. And there's my job. It needs to be assigned. I was actually looking at my jobs. So if I come on over here and let's allocate this to the staff, edit the job. We'll go ahead and include all the staff in it. And now, not only did I get the email notification, but now when I log into my dashboard, now I have notification that we have the job here.
Nice.
And
so the idea here is that, okay, so Practice Ignition, we get the deal signed. Now it's go time.
Now it's go time. So the people that know about the engagement being signed are your admin and your sales staff. Now you have people in your firm that do the onboarding. So by having this, it creates the job in Workflow Max or Zero Practice Manager and notifies them, hey, we have a new client. Let's start the onboarding. And when you go in and look at that job, I briefly set it up. We have send it a welcome email, setupbox.com and create an onboarding call. And these are all dates that key off of the beginning date of the engagement in Practice Ignition. The date on that job is December 1st. So it creates the job as of December 1st. So these are all now past due, but we can fix that really quick. But the staff is notified. So it's time to get going and create these jobs. Now, Xero Practice Manager isn't perfect. Like you saw me, I have to assign the staff to it. Well, it would be perfect if when you created the template, you could assign the staff and it would automatically notify everybody. But in this case, we'd have to go into the job itself. And as you can see, there are no tasks here. So I'm going to go and add tasks to this job. And right here, going to go ahead and save that. Now I've created these tasks. I'm going to allocate these to myself, both of them to myself, and send that out. So once again, I should have some emails here. And there we are. We have 2 new tasks that have been assigned to me for me to handle for this job. So this part of it handles it really well. And from here, that's where we're looking at other platforms until Xero and Workflow Max can do some enhancements to this. And we've made some requests, and hopefully that's going to happen.
So what's the number one thing, Jay? Forgive me for interrupting.
The number one thing is
I need
is automating it. So I want
look in the camera. Look in the camera.
I don't want to have to go in and assign the staff. I want to set up my templates and have the staff automatically assigned so that it's seamless. We have a new client, boom, done.
So we need them to know that. So we're going to make a little excerpt out of that. Maybe what you and I ought to do is a little vodcast afterwards, and just we'll talk to our friends at Xero. And I mean, obviously, you know, we've both been consulting with Intuit and Xero and whoever else. They ask us for our opinion because we're using it, right?
Exactly.
So let's do that for them. And anyone else, if you are listening, we have you muted, but the chat window is open. So if you have questions, comments, or anything you'd like to say in there as we're going along, please use chat. I'll keep an eye on it, and I'll nudge Jay. Jay, don't worry about watching it. You just focus.
Sure.
Please.
So on ABBA, you've seen there's some traction on a platform called Practice IQ. So we've been using it about a month here, and it hopefully will fill that gap. It's still a work in process. They are rolling out new features every 3 weeks. They have a implementation cycle. And just last week, they put in a few new enhancements. And it's going to actually connect to Practice Manager. So once the job is created, we'll be able to spin off these tasks in Practice IQ. And we're going to be able to run it through there and take this platform. And again, it's not about having one platform that does everything. It's about having the right platforms that do what we need it to do.
So, and let's stop you there and let's talk about that. I mean, obviously there's 17 hats, which is a unique piece of the puzzle. A lot of people are concerned 17 hats, although I mean 17 hats is doing great, and they're going to be on School of Bookkeeping soon, of course. But I think a lot of people are concerned that it's for smaller firms. And you don't work with Eric Greenspan and do Ignite program if you're going to do 17 hats, because I'm going to blow you out of that program. Now, I will tell you, Donovan Janis is very aware of that problem, and I'm sure there's an 18 hats coming out. But at some point, I hope, in the meantime, I mean, that would be great. Now, the negative of that is that you have to do something completely somebody's way, the way they see it. You know, he built the tool for his wife and then realized what he had, so on and so forth. Awesome piece of software, but it's nice having different pieces that all kind of plug in together. Yeah? You know, You get the best of everybody's focus.
That's exactly it. You don't have to fit a round peg in a square hole anymore. You find what fits you and you use what works for you. You don't have to make new procedures and, get people to do things different ways. You do it the way you like to do it, find the software that fits. And what we're going through is what fits for us. And I say that, but 3 years ago or 4 or 5 years ago, before I jumped into Xero, everything that we did was QuickBooks and everything was on the desktop. So we've evolved, and as the cloud has taken over, we've changed our processes, and that's what's been the impetus for this change. It's not taking that one gigantic thing and cramming what we do into it. It's taking this piece, and this piece, and make them talk together seamlessly, and it just works.
Alicia, talk to us about BusyCalc.
BusyCal is a third-party Mac calendar that I really love. I don't use Apple's calendar either on my computer or on my phone because I find them really limiting. One of the things that BusyCal does have is the ability to move a task. It shows that your tasks on your calendar as well. And so you can have a task that's set for a date and time, and then if you don't complete it, it rolls forward to the next day.
Folks, I've moved us to Brady Bunch on the gallery for recording. All of you are welcome to take off your microphones. This is, I think, the perfect time for us to have a Q&A. Jay has given us kind of the first step of this puzzle, and there's so many more. And Jay, let me ask you, Alicia, thank you very much. I'm definitely going to go jump all over that. I want to take a look at that.
Yeah, I am too.
Because you know me, I would never be late on anything ever. Ever.
The app for the phone that I really like is called Week Calendar, and it's way easier to use than the Apple built-in calendar.
Would you put that in the notes for me, please? Because we get a text. The notes actually get saved in Zoom, and I can copy and paste them later. Links would be awesome too.
Okay.
Thank you. Thank you very much. So Jay, so there's other workflow products out there. People talk about Pascal. People talk about Arrow, which is Laura and John Redmond's, right?
Yep.
Great people. So I'd like to see that product. But it's like CRMs, man. When does it end?
There's so many out there, and the trick with all of those, again, you have to find the one that fits what you're doing. There's workflow, Scale Us. I mean, and every day there's a new one popping up. So what do? You go out and you got to try them and see what works.
Yeah. So it really hasn't matured as well. Practice Ignition, you were really fired up about.
Yeah. Oh, definitely. A couple
people that have said, nah, but I think they haven't tried it lately. Obviously that company is focused on growth, and they're working on building it into even a better product. They added the ability to actually transact business and sign documents. We were talking with Carrie the other day about the whole DocuSign process and how expensive that product was. When does it end? How many pieces of software do you need on your desk to operate? And, I can answer that question. If I open up my Adobe Creative Cloud, there's 25 apps, of which I use 8.
Right.
And for every website, I'm using 6 to 8 different applications to get the content I need. And probably the most valuable tool I own is Snagit. And I use Notes a lot. Right. And I love the new features on the Mac where you can snag it, grab a picture, drop it into your notes so you have reference. This is what Seth used to always talk about when he talked about Evernote. He would just put everything in there. That guy loves Evernote. And I get why he liked it, but it was bloatware. Agreed? Do you use it?
I don't use it. I used to use it, but I don't use it anymore.
Does anybody that's on use Evernote or ever have used Evernote or OneNote?
Alicia uses it.
Alicia does?
Yeah.
Alicia, do you use Evernote?
Yeah, I do use Evernote. It integrates with absolutely everything, so I can save anything from practically any app somewhere into my Evernote. You know, I'm not the kind of person where I don't save like all my receipts the way Neat Scanner would put them in there if I wanted to. I don't use it for that.
Or Expensify. I mean, Expensify is rad. Take pictures.
Yeah, I'm just getting set up with Expensify. It's actually on my agenda for today.
That is one tool that I would argue is just a slam dunk, because I literally, I'm just going into this new year with 2 LLCs, and after getting, my hand smacked by my CPA, I'm finally going to record. I mean, I didn't realize that the IRS actually really wants you to keep paper. But then again, I've dealt with the IRS and waited on their phone calls, and I realized why. It's because they're still thinking in like 1963. But so Evernote, Alicia, let me ask you this question. Is it overwhelming? The amount of data that you start to build?
Well, what I like about it is that I can file things away into different groups, and then I can just do a global search and find all of my related content from it. And so I don't ever have to go like looking around for anything, because all I have to do is find, some related term that's in there somewhere, and it pops right up.
Okay, so I use Notes for that. So like, for example, every time I upload a YouTube video to, like this video, when I'm done, it's going to, as soon as I hit end, it's going to stop recording, and then it's going to convert to an MP4. And sadly, there's a little bug, and I'm working on it with Zoom, and it must be something related to the Mac, because I had this problem with GoToMeeting, which is the reason why I switched to Zoom, thankfully. Still love this product way better. And the Zoom people are on it. I mean, the guy sent me an email yesterday saying, "Hey, Eric, I'm really sorry that I wasn't able to get an answer for you, but we're still on it." Wow, with GoToMeeting, I went to some forum and they never even responded. It was just one more pissed off person after another. Anyhow, so what'll happen is it'll convert to an MP4. Then I've got to put it into Premiere, and I have to render it into a QuickTime movie, and then the file's perfect. So it takes about 45 minutes. Nothing I have to do. I just have to kind of let it sit, working on my very fast Mac Pro, thank God. And then I can have that movie, put it into Camtasia, put on my bumpers, and then I hit upload to YouTube. And where I was going with this is, when you go to upload to YouTube, it asks for your tags and your YouTube description. It would be kind of cool, Camtasia, if you automatically just saved the last thing I put in there as a default, but they don't. So I go over to my Apple Notes, which, is my Evernote, so to speak. And I have a funny feeling that Apple Notes, it gets better and better and better, and you can write in it now, and you can post pictures, and it does other lists and stuff. I have a funny feeling that might be a head-to-head simplified version of Evernote over the next couple of OSs. But in any event, so I go to my notes, I copy my YouTube description, I paste it into the upload, paste in my tags, mark how I want it to go, and hit share, and it's done. It goes up to YouTube. It doesn't let me set my thumbnail image and a few other things, so I have a little bit of work to do after I get it up on YouTube. But, those types of things, those little time savers. Here's another one. People ask me to book a consultation all the time. Well, that's https://74marketing.com/book consultation. Typing that out all the time is lunacy, right? Well, for a long time, I would open up Notes, copy that, and I would paste it in. And then, Alicia, as you well know, Jay, you probably do too, is we have auto text on the Mac, and I'm sure there's a tool on Windows. So I can put book, and down on my iPhone or my iPad or on my Mac, it'll automatically give me the option to add that entire link, because it knows, because it's filling in the blanks for me, and boom, it's done. I mean, these kinds of time savers are worth their weight in gold. Does anybody have a time saver or a tip that they can share? I know you do, Alicia.
Yeah, there's another app that I use called Copy Paste Pro that I don't know how I could possibly live with.
Oh my goodness, you were telling me about this, like multiple clipboards?
Yeah, so I can go copy, 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 and then it puts up a little icon on my in my menu bar, and then I can pick from any of them and paste them where I want them to go.
All right. We know what our next webinar topic is. Alicia, I need you on Ignitization Webinar Wednesday. We're going to do a tips and tricks together. Are you in?
Oh, I'm so in.
Yeah, royal wise. Hey, Alicia, while you're on, go ahead and plug what you've got going on Thursday.
Okay, hang on.
Tell Dad you'll call him back.
Okay. Just hung up on my husband.
Same one. 6 1, half dozen the other.
What was the question?
You're gonna tell us about your event on. It's awesome. You have a QuickBooks webinar on the 17th that you're doing.
Yeah, tomorrow afternoon from 1 o'clock to 5 o'clock. Sorry, I am doing a QuickBooks for Desktop training from dollars to donuts, starting at the very beginning with it. But I focus on the real stuff that you need in order to get your work done, and it's a live class. But I webinar it out to everybody.
So when you say live, do you mean live in person?
Yeah, I have an audience. I have people who are taking the class in person, but then I also broadcast it out.
And you are where?
And I'm in, this class is going to be in Vancouver, Washington at the Chamber of Commerce.
So Pacific time, 1 o'clock. You actually you're doing it live, but you're also going to broadcast it live webinar?
Yeah, and so anybody who's even in the webinar audience is also welcome to ask questions as well.
Whether they're in the building, on the webinar, and then what do you do with it after it's done?
After it's done, I post the recording to my website, and you have forever free access to the recording. So if you're, whether it's a week or a year down the line, you're like, oh, we talked about that in that class, you can actually go back to the video and rewatch it.
That's awesome. School of Bookkeeping and Aboites get a discount?
Yeah, I'm giving a 20% discount.
Would you post that in the chat for us, please?
Okay, yeah, I'm going to go up to that little icon with my copy paste since I pasted it about half an hour ago.
Oh, I wish you'd show your screen and show us how that works. That's so cool. So you can copy. How many will it store?
The main clipboard stores, I don't know, there's got to be 50 or 100 on it, but then you also can have additional clipboards that are permanent storage. And so like my hot classes or the things on my website that people ask about all the time, I have paste 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. And so I have 10 that I can just call on demand.
Okay, so you and I are fire fingers on a keyboard. We control copy, we control paste. When I hit Control V, it's obviously going to use the last one in the clipboard.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So this one you would do Control V1, Control V2, Control V3.
I don't have a V3 key.